Hello, my name is Professor Norman, and today we're going to be talking about the six-step diagnostic process. Now, there's lots of different types of diagnostic processes. There's the 12-step diagnostic process, the 15-step diagnosis. Some technicians do a one-step process. Chrysler teaches the six-step troubleshooting process, and I think 6 steps is probably easier to remember than 15 or 12 different steps, and probably a lot better than just one. And so we're going to talk about these steps a little bit. Every student needs to have an understanding, a very good understanding of how to diagnose, and more importantly, how to teach somebody to diagnose. A lot of times, a student will say, "Well, I need to diagnose my vehicle," and I say, "Well, what do you want to do first?" And they're like, "Well, I want to diagnose it." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" And they can't communicate what that means. They have it in their head as far as what they want to do, but trying to communicate that to somebody else is somewhat difficult, because you have to realize that diagnosis is a process. It's not just one step, but it's many steps in order to start with the beginning and then finishing with an end of the process. And so many of our students are going to go out and be managers. There'll be shop managers, there'll be district managers, there'll be service engineers that are going out and working with technicians. And so obviously you'll be teaching this process, your process. Everyone has a different process throughout your lifetime. And so with any of these processes, the very first step in all of them is what? Anybody have any ideas? The first step of any diagnosis process. First step is, and I'm trying out something new here, see if this works, is verify the customer's complaint. And so I don't care if you're diagnosing air conditioning problems, a fuel-related problem, a transmission shifting issue. The very first process is to make sure that you understand what is going on, that you verify the problem. You're talking to the service advisor, you're talking to the customer, you're able to duplicate the problem. I was a Chrysler training instructor for 14 years, and so talking hundreds and hundreds of classes with Chrysler technicians, and every single day in class, either it was before class, maybe it was break, maybe it was during lunch, maybe it was after lunch, but every single day, somebody, sometimes more than once, would come up to me and say, "Hey, I have this problem I want to bounce off you." They're wanting just someone to talk to, somebody with maybe a little bit more experience, a little more knowledge. Maybe they have that they're having a problem with, and they're trying to get some help. And so I was always amazed that they would start telling me this long story of all the stuff that they've done, all the different tests that they've done, all the different repairs that they've done, all the different components that they have replaced. And the car's been back 3 times, 4 times, now it's the 5th time back, and we've done all this different stuff, and we still can't fix it. Do you have any ideas? And so then I start questioning, lots of questions to the technicians, and then at some point I have to go back and think, wait a minute, what did you experience? And all of a sudden they'll be like, we haven't ever duplicated this. And we're just going off of what the customer says. Customer's not happy. They buy a new car from us every 2 or 3 years. The service manager says, "Hey, we have to fix this. This is an important customer." So I'm just throwing parts on there to try to get by. And and this happened every day, is that technicians were just guessing. And so it's important to realize that when we are going through a professional diagnosis process, there's a big difference between diagnosing and guessing. And so I'll be using the word guessing a lot. Hey, you're just guessing. You're not really diagnosing. And so the first step of any diagnostic process is to, again, verify the complaint. I got a great story. I remember my wife calling me up one time and saying, "Hey," she had a 94 a Jeep Grand Cherokee. She said, "It's not moving. I'm stuck in a parking lot and it's not going anywhere." And I'm thinking, okay, is it out of park? Is a parking brake on? And so I'm asking her these questions over the phone, and she's getting mad at me. And she's like, "It's in gear, dummy. Come on. It's just not going anywhere." And I said, "Okay, well, it's lunchtime. I could drive over there and try to help you out. It wasn't too far from my work. And a few minutes later, she calls me back and says, "Okay, it's fine. It's moving now. I'll just look at it when I get home." And so I get home, obviously, and I look at it, and not a problem. And so, of course, I'm doing all the normal things that I would do for my beginning part of my diagnosis. So my first step is verify the complaint. Well, I can't verify this complaint. It seems to be shifting just perfectly for me, not a problem at all. So maybe I'll move into the second step of the process, which is determine related symptom. So what that means is looking at all the basic stuff that symptom is occurring, or that complaint is occurring, and just see if there's something there that's making it maybe easy. So I'm checking the shifter and making sure the shifter moves okay. And then I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, I wonder if the four-wheel drive unit was like in neutral or something. She accidentally hit it or something. So I'm moving the four-wheel drive unit back and forth. No, that seems pretty good. Putting the parking brake on, making sure the parking brake comes on, goes off, releases, checking the shift mechanism, and I'm kind of stuck there in that area. And so I'm looking at everything normal. Popping the hood. I think I popped the hood and just kind of like stared at the engine for a little bit and say, "Yep, the engine's still there." So at that point, I'm like, well, there's no problem. And so the key is that after, I didn't replace the transmission. I didn't yank the engine out. I didn't take the brakes apart. I had really no idea where to go to at this point in time. And so it's important to verify the customer's complaint, because you have too many different scenarios there to go off of. Maybe I went in and checked TSBs. Hey, is there anything known about this issue? No, there's nothing known about this at all. If anything service related that maybe I need to do, that maybe something is worn out, and the transmission fluid was replaced about 20,000 miles earlier, so no problem there. I did check the transmission fluid, obviously, and made sure that was okay. So that's all part of determine related symptoms. Well, she calls me back, I don't know, a couple of days later, say, "Hey, it happened again." I said, "Okay, well, you're at home right now, so just take the spare car. Sorry about that, and I'll check it when I get home." And so I got home, and I actually showed her, "Hey, show me what you're doing." And so she started it up. She put it in reverse, and this time it went, and not a problem. I say, "Well, did it go in? Did the shifter move last time?" And she goes, "Yeah, the shifter moved and everything." And I'm thinking that we're parked on a hill and she just can't get it out of gear. And of course, I look at it again and can't find anything. So again, I kind of stop right there. And when you start looking at how long you're going to work on the car before you stop charging the customer, or you stop saying, well, there's nothing to do. So the key is that I can't just keep looking at the car for hours and hours and hours and then tell the customer, well, sorry, I didn't find anything. So I would probably say about half an hour is a reasonable amount of time to do your inspection, if you want to call that. Some people will call it the inspection, of verifying the complaint, trying to determine related symptoms before you decide, do I need to go further? Or is it something that, well, this is just maybe owners having a problem understanding the system a little bit, and I go from there. And I do remember that, a few days later, she calls me up, saying, "Okay, it's Friday afternoon. I got the kids now with me. I'm in the middle of downtown Kansas City, and it won't move. I am stuck." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll come get you." And so I I drive all the way down to get her. And I remember getting in the car, and she was in a bad intersection and just stuck there, and she was mad at me for being very mad. But anyway, I got in the car, started it up, put it in gear, and it didn't go anywhere. it wasn't going in reverse, wasn't going forward, wasn't going in first gear. I'm like, I went out and checked the fluid. The fluid was there, and the fluid smelled a little burnt this time. I said, "Oh, I think I know what the problem was," and had to rebuild the transmission on that thing. But the key is even though it was my own car, I didn't just yank out that transmission and overhaul it right away, because I didn't really know I didn't understand the problem, and I couldn't confirm it. And so that's very, very important on that.